just when I thought we were finally going to have a president with abs in the Oval Office, he drops out of the race. So in case you missed it, RFK Jr., who was a independent presidential nominee, who honestly had no shot at winning the presidency, just dropped out. And he now supports Donald Trump in the 2024 election. Now, I don't know everything about RFK, so I'm not a political channel. I'm a fitness channel. And as a fitness coach, though, I've always thought, man, how important it should be to have a president who cares about health, who isn't pushing pharmaceutical drugs and vaccines and highly processed foods, who actually has a focus on making America healthy again. I know the talk is always around the economy. It's always around safety, gun control, rights, you know, all those things. And I'm not going to discredit the importance of those issues, but health is true wealth. And if you're watching this and you're over the age of, let's call it 30, you have kids and you have a family and you have a lot going on, and you're not taking care of your health, well, I would say you're missing the boat. And trust me, I fell into that trap for many years where health just wasn't a priority. And if you look around in America today, you know, it's pretty obvious that health is not the number one thing. The number one thing is making money, right? We live in a world where people are just stretched, and, you know, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and the middle class is getting squeezed. And so, of course, most of the issues that get talked about are related to money, right? And related to either getting free things or taxes, or just all the things that relate to the economic place that we're in. So anyway, RFK Jr., if you haven't seen him with his shirt off, dude's in shape, right? He's 70 years old. He's pretty jacked, works out. He's had clips on the internet of him training with his shirt off outside, and the dude lifts for sure. So how does he get in such great shape? Like, what are the things that he does to maintain his physique? Well, you know, if you listen to what he talks about, he's heavily focused on eliminating some of the nasty stuff that goes into our food, right? He's talking about, you know, seed oils. He's talked about preservatives. He's talked about all the things that are illegal in other countries that America is completely fine with, that is technically poisoning our food, right? Making kids and adults, by the way, way more addicted to the crappy processed food that is high in calories, has very little nutrient value, and is hard to say no to because it is addicting. You know, it's contributing to a lot of health issues in children, but, you know, I would also tell you it's contributing to a lot of health issues in adults, right? If we look around, 70%, and this number is climbing, by the way, 70% of people in America are overweight. Obesity is climbing too. I think currently it's around 30 to 40% of America is obese, technically. And then we're looking at kids, and that obesity rate is steadily climbing. So we have a problem, right? And health it has to be a major focus, because think about it. An unhealthy country is more susceptible to so many awful scenarios, right? We're a weaker country mentally, physically. We're a weaker country spiritually. We have so many issues, right? And so it's just amazing to hear a presidential candidate speak out on these issues and in fact, go after the powers that be, who have trillions of dollars invested into keeping us addicted to these foods, right? Because it's not just about the food. It's the fact that when you need to go to the doctor and you need to, you know, get health care and all that adds to the pot of profit. An unhealthy country, in my opinion, is easier to control. It's more profitable because you're just consuming 24/7. When you eat less, you spend less money on food, right? Which the government doesn't want that. When you need to go to the doctor less, you know, insurance and healthcare and pharmaceutical drugs are less of a requirement. Well, that takes money out of the pockets of politicians. And so, you know, I know every politician, at least it seems like it has an agenda, right? There, you know, at the end of the day, everybody has an agenda. Let's just be real, right? Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to push things. I mean, my agenda is, hey, I want to be a trusted advisor for you when it comes to your fitness. I want you to invest in our programs. I want to help you, you know, and helping you helps me. And, you know, it's a win-win. So of course I have an agenda too, right? Nobody's immune to agendas. But RFK, when you look at his talk and the speeches and the things he's said about health, it's pretty apparent to me that he's got his head on straight when it comes to making sure we're taking care of not just our health, but our children's health too. So, you know, when you look at guys his age, and, you know, if you're watching this and you're getting into the second half of your life and you're like, man, like, how do I get to a place at that point when I'm 70, you know, where I still have bicep veins, I'm still jacked, right? Well, it's about doing the things now that you can sustain, right? It's about making choices and building a routine now that you can follow for the rest of your life. And so what I want to do for you today is talk about, you know, a couple things that I think will lead to you being in, you know, the RFK level shape when you're 70 and beyond. You know, number one is making lifting a priority, but it doesn't have to be every single day. Momentum doesn't have to be a daily practice, right? It can be something that you look at from a little bit more of a macro perspective, meaning you can zoom out and say, hey, every single week for the remainder of this year, I want to train 3 times a week, right? 3 times a week consistently done year after year after year is going to be so much better than you trying to go to the gym 6 times a week and only lasting for, you know, a few months. And then, you know, you fall off, you go back to eating like crap, not working out, not moving enough, not lifting, and you lose your gains, right? Because you couldn't sustain that pace. And it's like the tortoise and the hare scenario, which we've exhausted time and time again, but sometimes a slower pace done for long periods of time, in fact, I'd say not sometimes, but all the time, is typically better than a fast pace done for a very short period of time. Now, there is a time and place for a faster pace. You know, I think micro periods of time where it's like, you know, 3 to 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks at the most, where you are going harder, right? You're doing little mini challenges. Like, you know, you might do a challenge where you're doing what I call my upper body size challenge, where I do push-ups and pull-ups every day for a couple weeks. Little things like that can keep things interesting, but you know it's not sustainable. You know it's temporary. Your sustainability comes from the foundational principles that you have, which could be lifting 3 times a week. It could be hitting a certain step goal every day. It could be a protein and calorie target that you hit most days. This is the sustainable, enjoyable way of getting in shape. And like RFK says too, you know, you do need to make higher quality food choices. It's going to be really hard to manage your appetite if you're eating processed food all the time. It's chock full of seed oils. It's chock full of preservatives, chock full of addictive supplements. Now, food is not as addictive as hardcore drugs. I know that those studies have, not studies, but those headlines come out where it's like sugar is the same as, you know, snorting crack or whatever. It's like, no, it's not. It's not. Like, literally, it's not. Studies have proven that it's not. Does it still hit your dopamine? Yes. Does it still give you that, like, you know, endorphin type of feeling? Yes. Is that addictive? Of course. But you can still get those same feelings eating healthy foods if you do it the right way. You just need to have meals that you actually like the taste of, that don't pile on the calories, you know, adds more protein to your diet, gives you what you actually need and some of what you want, right? It's a win-win for you. You know, with nutrition too, like, it's important to look at the big picture and say, like, nobody's ever going to get fat by having, you know, 1 meal out once a week, right? Nobody's ever going to get shredded either by going just full salads and chicken breasts, you know, for 7 days. So you have to build something that is going to give you results, but also keep you sane at the same time. You know, RFK, I don't claim to know his personal supplementation, but I would say it seems to me that he's clearly on the TRT train. I think he may have come out and said that he's not. I would be curious to see his blood work. And because here's the thing, people think TRT is like this bad thing. I think it's actually a great thing if it gets your natural testosterone, you get your testosterone levels to a more natural level, right? We're not talking about going into bodybuilder prep mode where you're taking 4 times the amount you should. You're taking insulin, you're taking growth hormone, you're taking other compounds, you know, like Winstrol and Anavar and, you know, Tren and all these other things along with testosterone, and all of a sudden you're like a walking science experiment. That's not necessarily the way to go. Some guys do that, right? And there's going to be some health consequences more than likely with that. I'm talking about having a trusted doctor tell you, hey, take this tiny little bit of testosterone. That's going to get you to a more natural range, which will improve your energy, your recovery, your stamina, your libido, your ability to hold on to muscle, your ability to build a little bit of muscle. And most importantly, get you mentally feeling like yourself again. Seems like RFK is probably on that train. Once again, I don't want to say he is or isn't, but it doesn't matter. Even if he is, like, that's not cheating, guys. It's not, it's actually being smart. Like, high-performing men know that they need to make sure that their internal health is dialed in, right? So if RFK is on it, good for him. I would suggest him coming out and saying it if he is, just because I want to inspire more guys to use that stuff. I think it's really important if you need it, if your health is at risk, if your body is falling apart and your testosterone is low, I think you should take it. Once again, though, trust your doctor. Don't listen to me. I'm just some guy on the internet who's coached guys for 20 years. What do I know, right? I have a lot of clients that do take it successfully. A lot of clients that don't need it who get great results. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up with just, a thought. If you're serious about taking your physique and your body to a level where you're proud of it, you feel like, hey, you've done a lot of really successful things in your life. Maybe your family is great, your business is great, your career is great, but you're just not happy with how you look. You feel disgusted when you look in the mirror, and you just don't feel like you're maximizing your potential. Well, check out the links below. We have a few options for you to get started. You can check them out, and whichever one feels best for you right now, go with that, and I'm happy to be a help. You can just ask questions here on this video if you want. But honestly, I made this video just kind of randomly thinking about RFK and the situation that he's in, where he has made a choice to promote someone else and drop out of the race. But he's still talking about health, which I think is super, super important. And so this is just me saying, let's make health a priority now and forever. All right. Not just physical, mental, spiritual, physical health, all combined is really your ticket to ultimate transformation. So until next time, this is Josiah Novak, thetruetransformation.com. Life moves fast. Make it count. Talk to you soon. Peace.